Credit Score 101. What exactly is a credit score? In this section, we'll be digging deep into the details of how credit scores work, who's calculating them, and the individual components of a credit score. It's important to understand these concepts because with knowledge like this, you can take the right steps to building or boosting your score and maintaining a high score. Your credit score is a number between 300 and 850. One thing to note here, and this applies for the rest of this course, is that everything I'm discussing in terms of credit score calculations is based on the FICO credit score model. There are actually several score models out there, but FICO is the standard, and by far the most common. It's used by 90% of lenders, and by the 3 credit bureaus. So that's what we'll be reviewing. So, your credit score is calculated by the credit bureaus, which we'll cover next, and it's based on details from your credit history over the past 2 years, and in some cases takes into account events from up to years ago or more. And the score model is essentially a formula made up of different components, like payment history and amounts owed. A credit score can be between 300 and 850, but what's the breakdown within that? What's a good versus a bad score, an average versus an excellent score? Credit scores can be classified into 5 different ranges. The top range, which means you have excellent credit, is a score between 740 and 850. You'll be approved for almost any credit card, and you'll be eligible for the lowest financing rates available when looking at loans and mortgages. Next is a good score, which is between 700 and 740. You'll still be able to be approved for most credit cards, including the really good rewards cards, and you should be eligible for the lowest rates on loans. Below that is an average score, between 640 and 700, which is the most common range. You probably have one or a few negative marks, but nothing crazy like a bankruptcy on your report. And maybe you just don't have a long credit history. You'll have access to a good number of credit cards and should be approved for loans, although you most likely won't qualify for the lowest rates. After that, we have bad scores. You've got some serious negative issues with your credit report, and to creditors, you look pretty risky. You may have trouble getting approved for loans and credit cards in this range, especially if you're in the 500s, and if you do get approved, you'll be paying very high interest rates. Any score below 500 is very bad. You'll have trouble borrowing in any form, and you'll need to do some serious work to improve your score. Now let's take a look at who's actually tracking your credit information and calculating your scores. The credit bureaus. Credit bureaus are kind of seen as these opaque official entities. Let's break them down a little bit. There are 3 of them: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and they're also known as CRAs, Credit Reporting Agents. If we look at the US government's website's definition, we can see that they're really just organizations set up to gather people's credit information and sell it to creditors, employers, and other interested parties. The gathering process works like this. Every month, creditors report your activity to the credit bureaus. That activity includes things like payments received, information on late payments, balances, and other items. Something that's good to know is that your score is calculated.